He's a guy that's coming up, trying to prove himself. He's been calling my name for years.
Guys don't, you know what I'm saying, happen, we gonna run it.
Gotcha. Why I say this fight needs to happen again, because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from GervontaDavis saying that he was going to activate the rematch.
The rematch between GervontaDavis and Lamont Roach is reportedly on the way. During a live interview, things got intense when Davis lost his cool at Roach, warning him that he's out for payback. "It's just part of boxing," Davis said, downplaying the moment.
If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, you know what I'm saying, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it, but after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye.
The rematch is a big chance for Lamont Roach to show he can take down a champion like Tank Davis. Roach has openly pushed for the fight to happen soon, knowing it's his moment to make history. Right now, the much-awaited rematch is likely set for June 21st in Las Vegas, and it's shaping up to be an exciting clash. Both fighters are prepared, and all eyes in the boxing world are on them.
So the Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach rematch is being targeted for June 21st in Las Vegas. Now, it's good that they're running it back without wasting any time, because Roach absolutely deserves a rematch. I mean, I thought he outboxed Tank the last time around. He came up a division as a gigantic 10-1 underdog, and he was the one on the front foot, landing his jab, the body shots, the combinations, throwing a lot more volume. I had it 7-5 Roach, and the no knockdown in round 9 was the reason it was a draw. If that knockdown was scored, that would have been a decision for Roach. But with all that being said, I do like Tank a lot more in the rematch. I thought he fought way too much on the back foot in the first fight, especially the first few rounds. He would land 1 or 2 punches per round. But as he started becoming the aggressor in the later rounds, he kept landing a lot more left hands and body shots. So Tank just needs to make this a dogfight, get into more exchanges, and that's where he'll land a lot more punches on Roach. When he's sitting on the back foot waiting for a counter, that's where Roach is comfortable and winning most of the rounds. So if Tank can fight the same way he did against Ryan Garcia, rounds 3 to 7, against Mario Barrios in the later rounds, or Frank Martin rounds 4 to 8, if he's the one on the front foot, then I do think he'll stop Roach in the rematch.
Lamont Roach has firmly stated that Steve Willis shouldn't referee the rematch because of the controversy from their first fight. Many believe Willis favored Tank Davis by not counting a key moment when Davis went down on one knee. This has sparked debate among boxing experts and fans, with some saying Roach might have won if the right call had been made.
The part with the grease in the eye, that took on a life of its own, that was a headline in the fight. One is, what did you think when he said that initially, just like the grease in the eye? But two is, like, when you was in the fight, was there any point that you saw that? Like, did you see like him kind of messing with his eye, or did you have any indication that that was something that was bothering him?
No, see, and that's the thing. If you look at the whole fight, he was never bothering his eyes before
you jabbed him.
Before I jabbed him. Even that right hand that, like, that kind of landed, he kind of rolled with it. But after that, you could see him wipe his eye. And then, right after I hit him with the jab, you could see him wipe his other eye. So it's like, it was corresponding to which hand that I punched him with and exactly which eye. So it's like crazy for him to say, it's grease in my eye. And I think even when he say that, you could see me, because I'm right beside him, you could see me like, nigga, what you talking about? So,
right. But you say you don't think he willing though.
Whatever. See, but who cares? Like, sweat gonna get in your eye, blood gonna get in your eye.
Yeah, it don't matter.
Spit fuck around and get in your eye. You know what I'm saying? But it's not like you can be like, all right, time out, ref. Hold on,
Take
ref.
no time out.
You can't do that.
Right. Would you be cool with Steve Willis doing the next fight?
Hell no.
He can't do the next fight.
No, he can't do the next fight.
Right.
No.
Pops, it's a no?
Hell no.
Yeah, fuck that nigga.
Yeah.
You know how many
Coach Ben on him, man. He lucky he ain't running Coach Ben after that fight.
But look how many times he fight up though. The knee, him going to the corner to get assistance, like, who knows? Not saying that they did any cheating like that, but like, he wiped his face with a towel. You can't do that.
Right.
You can't do none of that. Right. That's a disqualification. You turned your back on the ref after you took a knee. Usually the ref will be like, all right, he don't want to fight no more. Fight's off.
One of the most talked about moments from the first fight was when Davis went down on one knee, but it wasn't ruled a knockdown. Many believe that call had a major impact on the final result. The incident has sparked a lot of discussion, with analysts questioning why the referee didn't make the right call. Roach and his team are convinced that if it had been counted, the outcome might have been different. Now, The rematch between Lamont Roach and GervontaDavis is shaping up to be one of the biggest boxing events in recent memory. Fans are excited to finally get a clear answer on who the better fighter is. Roach has already shown he can go toe-to-toe with Davis, and many believe he's earned this second chance to settle things for good.
You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? That is it. Lamont, please say that in the second fight. Any questions? You got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, you got any grease in your hair tonight, Tank? Like, hey, bro, be on that. Because here's the thing. He never hurt Roach. Roach just waited. And Roach was squared up and turned sideways. And I'm like, oh, my God. I didn't think he had that. He was like, I'm like, oh, my. And then he just sitting there like, you can't. I know what you're going to do because I've trained with you since we were kids. Tarver beat Roy, but he knew Roy since amateurs. Roy said he never liked fighting sparring partners because they know you so well. I should have listened to Roy.
Tank Davis is pushing to make the rematch happen quickly, with May as a possible date. He knows his reputation took a hit after the controversial draw with Roach, and he's determined to show everyone he's the superior fighter. A rematch is his chance to clear any doubts and prove his dominance once and for all.
We gotta talk about it. So, Tank officially came out and says that he wants to put this rematch as early as May. Now, if that were to happen, Lamont Roach gets a second time to prove himself. Now, in my personal opinion, his stock has already risen. He is already notable. The fact that he went toe-to-toe with Tank on a decision that ended in a draw, whether he loses this second fight or not won't even matter. Because he's directly in line to go against the Keyshawn Davis, the Shakur Stevensons, and etc., the Devin Haney's, and etc. I can see him moving up and going against a Devin Haney or Ryan Garcia or somebody like that. So many people to fight. Lamont Roach has definitely proven himself. But let's talk about something else. And that is the hairstylist situation. In my humble opinion, I believe she should have been quiet. As a hairstylist, there was nothing for you to say. There was nothing for you to say. No fan in boxing was going to look at them like, I don't want to braid my hair. No one would have said that. But she hurt herself when she came out and publicly made multiple claims, got all these receipts that no one needed, no one asked for, saying, oh, this had no grease or oil in it. No one cares. No one cares. Nobody even believes it. Sometimes it's best to remain quiet. But you guys let me know in the comments. Should she have remained quiet, or should she did what she did, which is spoke up? You let me know.
Before the fight, many fans and analysts didn't fully recognize how talented Lamont Roach was. But his performance against Davis completely changed that view. Roach stood his ground against one of boxing's most powerful punchers, earning respect and attention across the sport. Even Stephen A. Smith, a well-known sports commentator, admitted he underestimated Roach. He had expected Davis to win by knockout, but was impressed by Roach's toughness and skill in the ring.
I expected to see a knockout. I expected to see it come at the hands of Gervonta Tank Davis against a dude that I thought was undersized, that I thought was not on the same level. And my God, was I wrong. So I thought it was apropos that on this particular day, more than a week after Lamont Roach showed up at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York, and let everybody know, yo, I'm no joke either. Y'all don't know who the hell I am. I'm here to reintroduce him to the world. A guy that many believe should be the lightweight champion of the world in the sport of boxing. The one and only Lamont Roach joins me right now.
A rematch between Davis and Roach is very likely, especially with Tank showing interest in doing it again. However, it's still unclear if this will be his next fight, as he has other possible opponents to consider. He might decide to face someone else first before giving Roach another chance. Still, fans are eager to see the rematch happen soon and are hoping it gets locked in quickly.
Match, that next game, what do you do that you didn't do the first time? Is that a valid question?
Well, I don't know if he pitched a shutout, but he definitely fought a perfect
game.
Perfect fight for him. For that fight, right? So above and beyond what we've ever seen from him, something that people who knew him and knew him personally knew that he has that in him, but being able to do it on the big stage underneath those lights, that's a whole different thing. He was able to do it. You know, it was packed in there. It was 19,000. I was in the room. I mean, they were literally booing him when he was on the Megatron above the ring. You know, so for him to walk into hostile territory, perform the way that he performed from beginning to end, I mean, I tip my hat. It was amazing. But in terms of pitching a shutout, I don't agree. It was a very, very close fight.
No, but what I mean by it is the perfect fight. Can he elevate from that?
Yeah. No, I absolutely understand. So in terms of can he elevate his performance? Yes and no. I don't think he can do anything that he was once he really found his rhythm better, because I think that was literally his catch and shoot, his rolling, his ability to catch those punches, his mindset when he did get touched, his ability to walk through. But I think he could be a little smarter in the way that he cuts off the quadrants of a 12-rounder. Understanding what a 12-rounder and how to fight a 12-rounder is a skill that takes time. You have to go 12 a bunch of times. You have to be world-class guys. Being able to be a little busier for early on to make sure that you understand that you are the B-side. You need to make sure these judges absolutely know without a doubt in their mind that you won that round. Being a little more aggressive early on, letting the hands go a little earlier, putting the exclamation on the points in the early rounds the way they did it the later rounds, I think will make a big difference in how he could actually improve on what he did the first time.
Smith admitted that the boxing world owes Roach an apology for underestimating him. This praise from a respected analyst highlights just how impressive Roach's performance really was.
Right, the team right back. I'm believing him. I didn't see him hurt or anything like that. I get that part. I saw him hurt when he got popped with a counter from Lamont Roach and he stumbled backwards because he got hit with a shot while throwing a punch in an earlier round. So I'm certainly not going to do that. Here's the important point to mention. All of us got to stand down and give Lamont Roach an apology. I thought that brother was going to get beat down because I saw a dude that was a bantamweight champion. I said, why are you moving up to fight this guy? Why is GervontaDavis taking this fight? This guy's too small. What the hell is going on? He was a featherweight champion. You're a lightweight. What the hell is going on? Why would you take that fight? I didn't understand it. What I didn't know is that once Lamont Roach stepped into the ring, he would be the bigger fighter. What I didn't know is that once he was in the ring and he looked like the bigger fighter, he fought like the bigger fighter because, ladies and gentlemen, from opening bell, he walked right to GervontaDavis. Walked right to him and stayed in his face all night long. If he backed up at all, ladies and gentlemen, it was 5% of the time.
A rematch between Tank and Roach is very likely, especially with Tank showing interest in doing it again. However, it's unclear if that will be his next fight. Tank has other opponents in mind and might choose a different matchup to redeem himself before stepping back in the ring with Roach.
Wilding like usual, right? Yeah. And the rematch, he'll be able to prove himself. I don't really believe there was a reason to call out a knockdown if you don't call Roach's shit a knockdown as well. They both was on the knee, pause. They both took a knee. So it cancels each other's out. It's either both are knockdowns or none. And neither are. So what we talking about? Nah,
they definitely hate Tank. That part is a fact.
Nah,
I don't. I'm saying
not
in
saying
general.
us.
In general.
I'm just saying like putting weight.
He got to Mayweather level where people hate him.
When you do well enough, people look for you to.
Yeah, that's good. Success breeds that. When you
that's a fact.
Either they love you or they hate you. It's no in between. No longer indifferent for you because everyone knows you.
Coach Bernie has stressed the need for Roach to sharpen his strategy for the rematch. While Roach did well, Bernie noted that there were key moments where he could have pushed harder and shown more aggression.
Entry, but he did good, Lamont Roach. But only thing, like I say, if he gonna go back and wish he threw his hands more, he might start getting mad at himself and realize that he when he watches the fight, it feel good to hear everybody say that. But when you go watch the fight and you realize, I let him slide too much. Like even the last round, he's standing there posing, looking at the man like. And then he got caught with a jab. That wasn't good.
So, you talked about the takeaways of how Lamont could be better in the rematch.
Renowned commentator Joe Rogan shared his thoughts on one of the fight's most talked about moments, Davis taking a knee in the 9th round. Rogan said that when a fighter goes down on one knee by choice, it should count as a knockdown. His take has added more fuel to the ongoing debate about whether the referee made the right decision during the fight.
That was trash.
Well, I thought it was a good fight. You didn't think
Great fight, but I just champion guy taking a knee, talking about greasing his hair.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I'm like, yo, how you just in the middle of the fight just go wipe your face?
Also, here's the deal. If you take a knee, that's a knockdown.
That's a knockdown. Subtract 2, right?
You got hit with a jab.
Yeah.
You took a knee.
And then you walked off.
Exactly. That is a knockdown.
Yeah.
So I think they're reviewing that right now.
Nah, that guy should have lost maybe.
Well, I feel like if they do review it and they do judge it as a knockdown, which it was clearly a knockdown to everybody.
Sure, it's a knockdown.
You take a knee, that's a knockdown. I
walk
think
off
they will probably give it to Lamont.
This is a very interesting rule. They have a power slap that kind of talks about what you guys were just discussing.
Many boxing analysts and former pros believe that if a rematch happens, Roach could have the advantage. His showing in the first fight revealed some key flaws in Davis's strategy. If Roach can build on that and take advantage of those openings, he has a real shot at winning the rematch.
GervontaDavis versus Lamont Roach is staying as a draw, which is bullshit because GervontaDavis obviously took a knee and it should have been called as a knockdown, but it wasn't. But this just means that Lamont Roach is going to take GervontaDavis in the rematch unless GervontaDavis ducks the rematch with Lamont Roach because he knows he's going to get his ass whooped once again.
If I get touched, I'm coming on that ass.
Davis's trainer has acknowledged Roach's talent, saying they were well aware of his skills before the fight. He also mentioned that their original game plan was solid, which means they might not change much in a rematch. This shows that Davis's team still trusts their strategy, but knows they'll need to execute it more effectively next time.
Surprised by Roach and Tank. What do you think the biggest surprise was in the fight?
It wasn't a surprise because we know Roach. It wasn't a surprise. Roach can fight. A lot of people think because a person is not popular, they don't exist. There's fighters out there that can rumble. They just got to get the opportunity, you know?
Speaking of rematches, Jalil Hackett is getting his opportunity again to fight the guy that he had a controversial loss to. It'll be happening in Florida, I think, next week?
March 15th, I think.
Let's talk about
I'm rocking a major shirt now.
Major.
Yes, sir.
Tell me, how's that rematch look like, and then what's the difference makers coming into this fight?
The first fight, I thought, everybody thought Jalil won. We just got to hit the gears a little harder. We ain't really got to change too much. Just got to put the icing on the cake, Put the icing on the cake this time, that's all. He did enough to win the last fight, but we was in somebody else's territory,
This time around, being in Florida, do you feel like it's a mutual zone?
Yeah. It's more of an even playing field in Florida.
Okay. Do you feel like he needs a stoppage to win the fight due to what happened the first time?
Not necessarily. A stoppage is good, but not necessarily.
Boxing analyst Showbiz the Adult shared his take on the knee incident, suggesting that Tank Davis may have taken a knee on purpose, not because he was hurt, but to break Roach's momentum. This viewpoint adds another angle to the ongoing debate, raising the question of whether Davis's move was a smart tactic or a sign he was in trouble.
Gervonta doing this shows that it wasn't an outside strange occurrence, that it may just be a part of his DNA. For him to get hit in amateurs and then take a step back and take a knee when he obviously wasn't hurt, it just shows to me that instead of gritting it out, all right, and possibly get knocked out or taking those chances, he'd rather take a knee to disrupt the momentum and then start over. That's how I'm taking it. It can be a great strategy, or it can be the bully complex. That when you meet somebody and they're not fearing you, or they're not retreating or backing away from you, and they're showing poise and the ability to withstand your output and give some back, like any bully, they kind of unravel.
The first fight ended in controversy, leaving fans split over who really came out on top. A rematch would give both fighters the chance to finally settle the score. This next bout could be a career-defining moment for both of them.
Why I say this fight needs to happen again, because both fighters have something to prove. I just saw a tweet from GervontaDavis saying that he was going to activate the rematch. Is it going to happen? I don't know. Would I like to see this fight happen? Yes, I would like to see a fight happen again because I think that the next fight is going to be a whole lot better. And I think the next fight is going to end with somebody being on the canvas, in my opinion. But I think that Lamont Roach, I want to give a shout out to Lamont Roach for, putting up such a, amazing performance. We never seen anyone stand there toe-to-toe with Gervonta Davis. We never seen anyone there throwing punches, power punches, at Tank Davis and not being knocked out. And I also want to commend Tank because Tank didn't have to take this fight.
That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.